over the last 20 years, I have built hundreds of workflow applications, processes, and other tools for customers. For the most part, these processes were built using .NET, jQuery, AngularJS, and other front-end tools, requiring developers, workflow specialists, and subject matter experts to collaborate. While the projects were successful, they often could take months to complete, increasing cost. This greatly limited which processes were selected for automation, and CPS has been a game changer in that regard. Earlier this year, we approached the clerk's office in Boone County, Kentucky. We found they were frustrated when considering standard applications to resolve their inefficient business process challenges. The off-the-shelf solutions did not address their specialized business needs and requirements, and they were shocked at the high cost of adding or customizing off-the-shelf solutions. As such, they were resigned to using labor-intensive resources to address unique process needs manually. After some discussion, we decided that the time tracking and paid time off or PTO accrual process were a great candidate for CPS automation. As you can see, the existing process was very labor intensive. They used paper forms to report semi-monthly time and time off requests. It required users to calculate their time manually, required supervisors to check those calculations and accruals and business rules and manually sign off. The paper time cards had to be sent by courier from different buildings and sent to bookkeeping for verification. The bookkeeping department had to calculate and track accumulated paid time off and record it in a notebook. All the time was then transcribed into a spreadsheet that was manually uploaded to the state. As you can see, this process was time-consuming, labor-intensive, and prone to errors. Within just a few weeks of discussions and configuration, 3 CPS solutions, or a family, were configured. Boone County now had electronic forms accessible from home and office, automatic routing, automatic calculations, removal of the bookkeeping step for verification, and the generation of an Excel file to upload to the state payroll system automatically. As you can see, they obtained a lot of benefits from a custom workflow solution in a short amount of time. So now let's actually look at these family of solutions for Boone County. Users will log on to the application via a web browser, either through work or a personal device. Once authenticated, the user is directed to the Initiate area, where they can see all the process to which they have access. As you can see, the Boone County users have access to a family of solutions in the area of time tracking. Through the web client, the users can request paid time off for sick time, vacation time, comp time, or unpaid time. They can cancel a paid time off request, and they can also report their bi-monthly payroll time sheets. First, we will look at the time off request process. From our Initiate tab, we can double-click the time off request process to initiate a new time off request. The form utilizes, as you can see, the built-in 6 concern approach of CPS: requester, service, documents, decisions, process, and history. On this first tab, the requester's information is pulled in based on the user's logon, so we can determine their name, department, employee, or PERNer number, and other relevant data simply from their logon, saving data entry. The user is also able to see a report on the number of vacation hours, sick hours, and comp hours they have accrued, how many they have scheduled, and how many are remaining. Previously, this information was only available in a binder held by the bookkeeping department. This was a major pain for this customer, as in the old way, they would have to call someone and ask, do I have enough vacation time to take off next week? In the new way, they can simply open the form and look. And because the data is all tied together between time cards and vacation requests, this only took a matter of hours, not days, to configure and display to the user. The traditional approach would have taken much longer. In the services tab, you will see also that there's a required field for supervisor to select. We'll leave that blank for now. The service tab is where the user identifies or the system identifies what is being requested, in this case, a paid time off request. You can see that the form you can expand to see what days you've already taken off. As you can see, I'm already planning on taking off a long weekend in October for vacation and a doctor's appointment in November. I will add some time off for this week, so that's September 28th, maybe a vacation day. and September 29th, maybe some compensation time. I've also would like to take some time around the Thanksgiving holiday. But I know that we have a business rule that only 2 people may be off on any one day in a department. Previously, I would have to ask around or call my supervisor to find out who had already requested off on certain days. Again, because this data is available between the family of processes, this can simply be displayed. So by typing in November, I can see that on November 22nd, 2 people have already requested off, yet only 1 has requested off on the 21st. So I can ask for November 21st and safely assume that it will be granted. Next, we'll go to our Decisions tab. The Decision tab automatically, based on flags set during configuration, can tell us when business rules have not been met. As you can see, we left the supervisor field blank, and it's alerting us to that. Also, it's telling us that the comp time has exceeded the value that's allowed. By clicking either of these, it will take us automatically to the section that's been violating a rule. This is all out-of-the-box configuration and took no additional time to configure except for checking a few boxes. We'll notice here that I've requested 7 hours of comp time. However, I only have 4 hours available, so the system will not let me proceed. I can simply change this to vacation, select the supervisor, and return to my Decision tab. I now have no notification messages, and I am allowed to proceed. After submitting this request, if I were to need to cancel one of my vacation requests, I can do so from the same Initiate section. You'll notice that this entire Requester tab is entirely reused from the Time Off Request screen. There was no additional configuration needed. It was displayed the same user information, the same accrual totals, and the same supervisor selection. This could, of course, have been changed, but since the requirements were the same for the entire family, 100% of this code could be reused. Again, we could reuse the departmental list and my approved time as well. And we simply show a list of dates that we want to request off. So I will choose to request off or to cancel the request for November 1st. Again, I can submit that request. In my inbox, I now see, as a supervisor, 2 requests, one for time off and one for cancellation. The supervisor who had been routed this request can open the form and look at the Service tab and see that I'm requesting 9/28, 9/29, and November 21st off. The user can also look at the department and see if there are any conflicts for those dates. In addition, the user could decide to either accept or reject. If they reject, they can enter a reason. We'll accept this request. Similarly, the user can open and review a cancellation request. Clicking on the Services tab, they can see that I've asked to reject my request for November 1st. In this case, I can reject it. Finally, we'll take a look at the third solution in our family, the time card submission process. Again, you will notice the same accrual list and user information reused from the previous processes. Here, the user can enter in their time for the month. You'll notice that the 2 vacation requests that I put in for this week for the period of September 16th to the 30th are automatically pulled into my time card because they have been approved. This keeps me from forgetting to report that time and saves data entry. Again, since the processes are tied together, this data is all available, and very little effort was needed to bring this data in to the time card process. You'll see that we have weekly summaries. We break out our time versus regular overtime, vacation, sick, comp, holiday, bereavement, and prepare the list for of time in a format that will be needed by the state to be paid. Should I go to my Decisions tab and try to continue, you'll see that I have some errors. The user is not allowed to report no time for a week, so something must be entered. This was another large pain for the customer because often users would forget to submit time or forget to submit their vacation or comp days for accrual purposes. By simply making this field required, the Decision tab is automatically configured to alert the user and not let them proceed. However, they can save and close or use save and close and come back later once they've figured out what they need to do. So in summary, these three solutions were very quick to develop. It took weeks, not months. The code was reusable. There were many out-of-the-box features, but it's still fully customizable. And enhancements, which there have already been a few, often take only minutes and not days.